Production.
What is poppin'? Let's break down Wonderfi technologies. So far, we're ripping heavily off of the lows. Those who have watched previous videos, I like to mark out November to November because I feel like that's a significant time in the crypto space, this November time. And it seems to be really accurate to split up these trends, the downtrend, the accumulation base, and what's potentially the beginning of a large uptrend going into this next year. Okay, so that's the breakdown. If we're coming up off of the highs here, $3.05, we're around 88% off of the highs. Okay, so there's still a lot of upside to the stock if you're looking at it from that perspective. Why I want to highlight that there's so much upside is because we have to think about what this company is trying to do in Canada. From what I understand, Wonderfi Technologies is trying to consolidate the majority of the Canadian regulated crypto space. And by doing that, they are essentially becoming the Coinbase of Canada. I imagine that's what their goal is. Now, if that's their goal, we need to start thinking bigger in terms of the opportunity set in front of us. Because now, if we're going to be compared to Coinbase, we need to start looking at the market cap of this company versus Coinbase. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Coinbase is valued at 45 billion in terms of their market cap. And I believe Wonderfi is around 220 million, right? Significantly lower, right? So Wonderfi is somewhere around 0.5%, maybe like a third or 2/3 of a percent of what Coinbase is. It's very, very small. There's a small fraction of what Coinbase is. If we're gonna be in the lights or in the same ballpark range of Coinbase, let's just say we're a quarter. Eventually, what Wonderfi's goal is to become a quarter of Coinbase's market cap. That would be around 10 billion. Well, that's almost like a 50x. Like that's almost 5,000, around 5,000% more, right? So I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is literally speculation. This is just my plain opinion of what the company is trying to do in this space. And if that's the case, the number is going to go significantly higher here in the next few years. We could see, look at this. This is only 2,000%. If the company is trying to go as big as Coinbase and get to a $10 billion valuation, again, $10 billion is only a quarter of what Coinbase is. We're looking at a stock that could be potentially worth $15 plus. Again, let's be real. Is that going to happen in the next 2 years? Probably not. We'd probably have to give it a lot longer than that. But that's what we're looking at in the grand scheme of things. If Wonderfi wants to be a legitimate player in this crypto space, not just in Canada, but worldwide. Okay? So, from the technicals, what are we looking at? I love the fact that we're riding the 8 EMA perfectly. So if you look back in January, we got a little bit extended from the 8 EMA. What happened? We came back and revisited it. Over here, we are steadily staying above the 8 EMA. And if this continues to happen, this zone of around 41 to 60 cents here, call it, you can move it up to something like that, yeah. Call it 45 to 60 cents. This area right here is acting as a magnet. So that's something we need to pay attention to. Is this zone acting as a magnet right now? And in the next few months, we're going to see it pop up into this range. If that's the case, what would happen after that? Well, likely there would be a period of consolidation, and likely a very large one, because up into that zone is around a 3 to 400% trade. Okay? This makes complete sense to me, and why that makes sense to me is because if we curl up into that zone and consolidate over a long period of time in 2024 before we get this breakout to the upside, what does that create? In the grand scheme of things, this creates a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, and that would lead to pretty much confirm the thesis that this deserves to be above $1, and this would be the pattern to send it way higher. On a weekly time frame, it makes complete sense. This would be our neckline around this zone here, right? And next year, spending some time coiling up tighter and tighter in this range could give us a massive opportunity to potentially go way higher, right? So maybe $1, $1.50 in 2024 is likely. So that's something we need to be aware of, that if we're consolidating for a long period of time in this zone, that's what's happening. A greater, longer term pattern is developing, and it's something that we should definitely be aware of. Again, look at this monthly volume. Big money is coming in for what reason? This isn't retail, let me tell you that. This volume is not retail. It's likely that big money is positioning themselves for a crazy next few years. So this is something we definitely need to be aware of. So I'll be posting more updates as time goes by. But again, like always, I'm always going to post my opinions and my grand scheme thesis of things. So far, everything's been right. I could come up and eventually be wrong, but that scenario makes too much sense. And all this bullish volume coming in is pretty significant, and it's very telling. It's always volume before price. So if we're going to expect an explosive move, it's due to all of this volume coming in. Peace, guys.